Jelly Roll's career is all about overcoming adversity, so it makes perfect sense that his life turned around for the better when a prison guard delivered some very important news.
He's a crossover artist in more ways than one. Jelly Roll's roots are in rap, but it turns out his calling was country.
He's a former rapper who calls himself Jelly Roll. He sings songs about the troubled life.
There was a time when everyone knew exactly who Jelly Roll was the moment they saw him. He had a big body, tattoos all over his face, a deep, rough voice, and a look in his eyes that told you he had been through a lot. His music wasn't polished or fake, it was real, raw, and straight from the heart. Fans loved him because he didn't try to hide his pain. Instead, he sang about it. Every hard moment in his life became a song, and those songs touched people deeply. He didn't pretend to be perfect. He was just himself, and that's what made him special. But then, something happened. One day, fans noticed that Jelly Roll looked different. He was still the same man they had followed from the underground rap world to the bright lights of country music. His voice was the same, and the tattoos were still there, but something about him had changed. He had a new kind of energy, stronger, healthier, and more focused. People were shocked. Some wondered if he had lost weight. Others thought maybe his mind had changed. Perhaps he had found peace. Whatever it was, fans couldn't stop talking about it. Jelly Roll had transformed, and no one could ignore it. This change didn't happen overnight, but it sure felt sudden to his fans. It left people asking, how did he do it? What made him change? Some thought it was about his body, while others believed it was about his soul. What everyone agreed on, though, was that Jelly Roll was not the same man he used to be, and that was both exciting and inspiring. To understand Jelly Roll's journey, we have to go back to the beginning. He was born Jason Deford and grew up in a tough part of Nashville, Tennessee.
Jelly Roll was born Jason Bradley DeFord in the Antioch area of Nashville, Tennessee.
His life wasn't easy. His dad sold meat and also ran a gambling business. His mom struggled with mental health and addiction. By the time Jelly Roll was 14, he had been baptized, but he was also arrested that same year. That moment started a long cycle of trouble with the law. For about 10 years, he went in and out of jail. But while he was locked up, something inside him began to change. The early days, a hard life from the start. Before Jelly Roll became the star we know today, his life was anything but easy. Long before the fame, the music, and the big crowds cheering his name, Jelly Roll was just a boy named Jason DeFord, growing up in a neighborhood called Antioch in Nashville, Tennessee. Life there was rough, and for Jason, it was even harder. At home, things were not normal or peaceful. His father worked hard selling meat, but that wasn't his only job. He also ran a small gambling business, which brought in money, but also stress and danger. Meanwhile, Jason's mother faced serious problems. She struggled with mental health issues and was addicted to drugs.
His mother battled addiction while also struggling with her mental health.
Some days, she wasn't well enough to take care of herself, let alone care for her son. Jason had to learn early how to survive in a world full of chaos. Instead of enjoying a carefree childhood, Jason was constantly dealing with adult problems. There were fights at home, bills that couldn't be paid, and nights where fear and uncertainty filled the air. He didn't have much guidance or support. Most of the time, he felt like he was on his own. This forced him to grow up fast and make choices no child should have to make. By the time Jason turned 14, something happened that would change the direction of his life. He got arrested. It was his first time behind bars, but it wouldn't be the last. That arrest started a painful pattern of being in and out of jail for almost a decade. He was caught in a cycle of crime, survival, and mistakes. Sometimes,
By the time Jelly Roll was a teenager, he started gravitating towards petty crime.
it felt like the world had already given up on him. But even during these dark times, something surprising began to happen. While serving time in prison, Jason discovered a spark inside him, a love for music. At first, it was just a way to pass the time. He began writing down his thoughts, his pain, and his dreams. These weren't just random words, they were his true feelings, put into lyrics. Music gave him a voice when he felt like no one was listening. For Jason, music became a form of therapy, a way to express the things he couldn't say out loud. Every line he wrote was connected to his life, his regrets, his anger, his hopes. He wasn't thinking about fame or fortune. Back then, music was about survival, a way to stay sane in a world that felt broken. Over time, these songs turned into something more. They became stories that other people could relate to. Fans later said that when they listened to Jelly Roll's music, they could feel the truth in every word. That's because he had lived through real struggles. He didn't make up stories or try to sound perfect. He shared his life, raw and unfiltered. Even though Jason's early years were full of pain, they helped shape the man he would become. Without those hard times, he might not have found music. And without music, he might never have escaped the life that was holding him back. Jelly Roll's journey proves that sometimes the hardest beginnings can lead to the most powerful stories. His past didn't break him, it built him. And that's why his songs continue to touch people's hearts around the world. They're not just songs, they're pieces of his real-life journey, and that's what makes them unforgettable. The rise to fame, from rap to country music. Jelly Roll didn't rise to fame the easy way. No big record labels were waiting to sign him, no red carpets, and no fancy music studios when he first started. His music journey began in the underground rap scene, where artists often create and share songs with little money but a lot of passion. Back then, Jelly Roll was just trying to be heard. He recorded music, however, he could sometimes in small home studios or even with borrowed equipment. Then he would share his songs online or sell CDs by hand, hoping someone would listen, and people did listen. From the start, Jelly Roll's music was raw, meaning it was full of real emotion and not polished like many popular songs. He didn't try to sound like anyone else. He rapped about his life, his struggles, and his dreams. Fans noticed that he wasn't fake, he was honest and real, and that's what made him stand out. His lyrics spoke to people who were also going through tough times. They felt his pain, and they felt understood. As the years went on, Jelly Roll kept writing and performing, but something interesting started to happen. His music style began to change. He didn't want to be stuck in just one genre. Slowly, he started mixing rap with country music. At first, this might have seemed strange, but Jelly Roll made it work. His voice, which was deep and emotional, fit perfectly with country-style storytelling. His songs still had the heart of rap, but now they had the sound and soul of country too. Then came the hits. Songs like Save Me and Son of a Sinner became fan favorites almost overnight.
Jelly Roll found his voice in 2020 when he released Save Me, the song hitting platinum.
These songs were about pain, forgiveness, and trying to become a better person, things that many people could relate to. His voice, filled with both sadness and hope, reached a much bigger audience than before. Fans of country music welcomed him with open arms, and his popularity began to explode. Soon, Jelly Roll was no longer just an underground rapper. He was a mainstream star. He was invited to perform on big stages, including major music festivals and award shows. His name was now known far and wide, and his fan base grew into the millions. People loved his unique sound, but they also loved his story. What made Jelly Roll truly special wasn't just his musical talent, but the life he had lived. People respected him because he had come from such a difficult past and had worked hard to change his future. He didn't try to hide the bad parts of his life. He shared them in his songs and interviews, letting others know that it's okay to have a rough beginning. He showed that it's possible to climb out of darkness and find the light. But while his music career was thriving, something else was going on that fans didn't see right away. Behind the scenes, Jelly Roll was facing a personal struggle. He was battling with his health, his mental well-being, and the pressure that comes with fame. Even though he smiled on stage and celebrated his success, he knew deep down that he needed to make some big changes. This inner battle was about to lead Jelly Roll to a point in his life where everything would shift. A transformation was coming, one that would not only surprise his fans, but would also strongly inspire them. The turning point, a wake-up call. As Jelly Roll's fame grew, so did the pressure. He was now performing on big stages, traveling from city to city and meeting thousands of fans. On the outside, everything looked perfect. He was living the dream. But behind the scenes, Jelly Roll was struggling with something very real: his health. Carrying so much weight made even simple tasks difficult. Walking across a stage left him out of breath. Long flights and tour buses were uncomfortable. He often felt tired, not just physically, but emotionally too. His energy was low, and it was getting harder to keep up with his busy life. He loved making music, but his body couldn't handle the constant demands. He had reached a point where things couldn't stay the same. One day, Jelly Roll looked in the mirror and felt something click. He realized that if he didn't change, his life and everything he had worked so hard for might not last much longer. He didn't want to be a man who let fame slip away because of bad habits or health problems. He wanted to be there for the people who mattered most: his wife, his kids, and his loyal fans. That moment was a true wake-up call. Jelly Roll saw clearly that it was time to stop making excuses and start making changes. He had come so far, and he didn't want to lose it all because he was too afraid to take control of his health. He wanted to enjoy his success, not just survive it. So, he made a powerful decision. No more waiting. No more saying, "I'll start tomorrow." The time to act was now. At first, he didn't make huge changes. He began with small steps. He started paying attention to what he ate, choosing healthier foods and cutting back on things that made him feel sluggish. He began moving more, even if it was just short walks or light workouts. It wasn't about doing everything at once, it was about doing something every day. But the most important change wasn't physical, it was mental. Jelly Roll started focusing on his mindset. He knew that without the right attitude, he would fall back into old habits. He reminded himself why he was doing this, not to look a certain way, but to feel better, live longer, and be present for the people he loved. Of course, it wasn't easy. There were days when he felt like giving up. Some days were hard, and progress felt slow. But Jelly Roll didn't stop. He kept pushing forward even when it was tough. He stayed motivated by thinking about his daughter's smile, his wife's support, and the fans who believed in him. Little by little, those small changes added up. He began to notice the difference: more energy, better sleep, easier breathing, and a lighter spirit. His body felt better, and so did his heart. This turning point in Jelly Roll's life wasn't just about losing weight.
I'm eating a lot of protein and vegetables and walking. That's what I'm doing. I have lost an entire Jimmy Kimmel 200-pound mark.
It was about taking charge, facing his fears, and choosing a better path. It showed the world and himself that he had the strength to change. And once he began, there was no turning back. The transformation: mind, body, and spirit. The moment fans saw Jelly Roll on stage after his transformation, they were stunned. It wasn't just a small change, it was something people couldn't ignore. He looked slimmer, yes, but also stronger, healthier, and more full of life than ever before. His usual slow, tired steps had turned into confident strides. His face glowed with energy. And when he sang, his voice was just as powerful, but now it came with a spark that hadn't been there before. The crowd watched in amazement. Videos and photos of that performance quickly spread across social media. People posted comments like, "Is that Jelly Roll? Wow, he looks amazing." Others said, "He's glowing, and this man is proof that change is possible." The internet buzzed with love and support. But here's what mattered. It wasn't just about his body. The real transformation was happening inside. Fans noticed something even more powerful than weight loss. Jelly Roll's attitude had completely changed. He smiled more on stage. He laughed more during interviews. He seemed lighter, not just in size, but in spirit. You could tell he was happier, more at peace, and truly enjoying life in a way he hadn't before. Jelly Roll started talking openly about his journey. He didn't hide the struggle or pretend it was easy. He told fans about the hard days, the temptations, the setbacks, and how he kept going anyway. He wanted people to see that real transformation isn't just physical. It's about healing your mind, caring for your heart, and finding your purpose. One of the biggest parts of his journey was focusing on his mental health. Jelly Roll shared how he had faced anxiety, self-doubt, and even depression. Fame didn't take those feelings away. Being in the spotlight sometimes made them worse. That's why he started working on his inner self through therapy, journaling, prayer, and taking time to rest. He also made a huge commitment to stay sober. That meant leaving behind habits and substances that once felt like comfort, but were causing him harm. He surrounded himself with positive people, friends, and family who encouraged him, not dragged him down. He stayed away from toxic energy and focused on building a better life. And through it all, he kept thinking about the people who mattered most, his family. Jelly Roll wanted to be present for his wife, to show his daughter what strength looks like, and to be a role model for his fans. He wasn't just doing this for himself, he was doing it for everyone who had ever supported him, believed in him, or needed a reason to believe in themselves. As fans watched his journey unfold, many felt deeply inspired. They saw someone who had hit rock bottom but rose again. Jelly Roll became a symbol of hope. People said, "If he can change his life, maybe I can too." His transformation turned into something bigger than just a personal win. It became a message for anyone who felt stuck, lost, or hopeless. Jelly Roll's story reminds us all that it's never too late to change. It starts with one step, one choice, and the courage to keep going even when it's hard. His mind, body, and spirit have grown stronger, and fans everywhere are cheering him on, not just for who he is now, but for the journey that got him there. The future. What's next for Jelly Roll? Now that Jelly Roll has transformed not only his body but also his life, fans everywhere are wondering what comes next. After all the hard work, the changes, and the emotional growth, people are eager to know where this journey is leading them. And the answer is exciting, because Jelly Roll isn't slowing down. He's just getting started. These days, Jelly Roll is more focused and motivated than ever before. He's back in the studio, working on new music, and fans can't wait to hear what's coming. His songs have always come from the heart, but now, with his new mindset and healthier life, his music has a fresh energy. People are saying, if his past songs were powerful, imagine what's next. His voice carries the weight of everything he's been through and now, the strength of everything he's becoming. Not only is he making new music, but Jelly Roll is also planning bigger tours. He wants to go to more cities, reach more fans, and perform in front of larger crowds. But for him, touring isn't just about selling tickets or standing under bright lights. It's about connecting with people, the same people who stuck with him through thick and thin. Every show is a chance for Jelly Roll to share his story, to inspire others, and to remind fans that change is possible. But music isn't the only thing on Jelly Roll's mind. He knows that his voice now carries power beyond the stage. That's why he's using his platform to help others. He's become a loud and honest voice on topics like addiction, mental health, and personal growth. He speaks out about his struggles, hoping to give courage to people who feel lost or broken. Jelly Roll often says, "If my story can help just one person, it's worth it." And fans are listening. Jelly Roll has also talked about starting programs or foundations to support people in need. He wants to give back to the community that supported him when he had nothing. Whether it's helping people in recovery, supporting at-risk youth, or offering mental health resources, he is determined to make a difference. His goal is to reach out, lift others, and show that no matter where you start in life, you can rise. When people see Jelly Roll now, they notice something different. There's a new light in his eyes, a sense of peace and purpose that wasn't there before. He's not just chasing success, he's chasing meaning. Fans say he seems more joyful, calmer, and more focused on what truly matters: family, love, faith, and service. And as for his fans, they couldn't be more excited. They've been on this journey with him from the start, from the dark days to the brighter ones, and now they're ready to see where he goes next. Whether it's through his songs, his words, or his actions, Jelly Roll is touching lives in ways no one expected. One thing is clear: he's not just making music anymore. He's building a legacy, one that will inspire people for years to come. Jelly Roll is proving that true transformation doesn't end, it grows, it reaches out, and it changes the world around it. And that's the kind of future we can all look forward to. At the end of the day, Jelly Roll's transformation is more than just a weight loss story. It's about a man who refused to give up, a man who took his pain and turned it into power, a man who looked in the mirror and decided to change not because he had to, but because he wanted a better life. His journey reminds us that it's never too late to start over, that no matter how broken you feel, healing is possible. His story has touched millions, not just because of how he looks now, but because of the courage it took to change. Fans are speechless, not just because of how different he looks, but because of how far he's come. Jelly Roll is proof that real change is possible, and that's a message the world needs to hear. And that's why Jelly Roll's transformation will never be forgotten.